This is a Hublot, the most hated watch brand on the planet. A brand that no one wants to be seen wearing. But in the 2000s, everyone wanted one. Hublot was everywhere, on Premier League sidelines, on the wrist of F1 drivers, in music videos, art shows, red carpets, and billionaire yachts. It wasn't just a watch, it was a flex. Loud design, golden rubber, giant cases, unapologetically bold. And for a moment, it worked. Hublot rose fast, louder than Rolex, flashier than EP, too bold to ignore. But then, almost overnight, the internet turned.
Can we just skip every single Hublot? Don't even want to have a conversation about it. It's not worth my time. Look at it.
Today, Hublot is a laughing stock. Sales are dropping, collectors are rolling their eyes, and enthusiasts, they don't even bother hating it anymore. It's just ignored. Hublot isn't controversial anymore. It's irrelevant. Why? Because for every bold idea, there's a lazy one. Because when everything is a limited edition, nothing feels special. Because no matter how many athletes you sponsor, you can't fake heritage. At best, Hublot looked like it borrowed from everyone, but the reality, it looks like it tried to. This brand broke the rules of luxury watchmaking.
No rules.
But maybe it broke too many. But before we dive deeper, hit the like and subscribe so one day I can finally afford a Vacheron Constantine. Alright, back to the story. There was a time when Hublot was barely hanging on. The brand had been around since the 1980s, launched with a bold idea. Luxury gold cases paired with rubber straps, but for decades that idea didn't catch fire. The watch world wasn't ready, sales stagnated, Hublot had a name but not a void. And then in 2004, Jean-Claude Beaver walked in. He didn't just walk in, he took over. The man was already a legend. He revived Blancpain, brought Omega roaring back to life, and later turned around Tag Heuer. But when he arrived at Hublot, he was already a big name in the watch industry. His reputation was untouchable, his instincts were unmatched, and his strategy with Hublot was simple: make the world look. He didn't focus on movement, he didn't chase purists, he chased attention. The Premier League, Formula 1, Ferrari, he turned Hublot into a fixture of global sports and pop culture. The logo was on every substitution board, on dashboards of cars, on wrists of rappers, footballers, billionaires. Hublot didn't whisper luxury, it shouted it.
Let you open this one.
Shit.
And Jean-Claude Beaver was the megaphone. He pushed the concept of art of fusion, combining materials no one would dare. Ceramic, carbon, titanium sapphire, magic gold, and traditionally scoffed. But Beaver didn't care, because people were watching and buying.
Skeleton Hublot. I love Hublots. It's got a little beat up, didn't it? But I love this watch.
He launched the Big Bang in 2005, and the name wasn't just a flex, it was a warning. Hublot exploded. The strategy was everywhere. Visibility over legacy, marketing over mechanics, noise over nuisance. And it worked.
It worked!
Hundreds of limited editions followed. Collab with artists, athletes, designer brands, World Cup partnerships, bold storefronts, flashy cases, red carpet moments. Hublot became a luxury logo, not just a watch. A status symbol for the loud, the proud, and the ones that wanted to be seen. And behind all of it was Beaver. Everything he touched turned into gold. Not because he followed tradition, because he knew how to bend the world around a brand.
You know, I got on this Rolex right here. Hublot is the best in the world, hands down.
Presence was power. He understood that while other brands were polishing cases, Beaver was polishing narratives. He didn't just build watches, he built moments. But when you build a brand on visibility over legacy, on marketing over mechanics, you better hope no one looks too closely. And when people finally did, they didn't just see the shine, they saw the cracks.
Hublot. Hublot has its own category, right? We'll put that in the Hublot category. Because there is indeed something worse than a trash can.
Before social media, brands could control narratives. If they had enough billboards, celebrity endorsements, magazine spreads, the public believed them. Luxury was sold, not scrutinized. But then the internet changed everything. Suddenly, reviews mattered more than ads. People could do their own research. They could compare $10,000 Hublot to a $1,000 Tissot and realize that they were powered by the same movement.
Yourself what the problem here is? Well, this movement is based on an atom movement. What? Well, yeah, you heard that right.
Communities like Reddit, YouTube became the arbiters of value. One bad review could undo $1 billion campaign. And in the middle of it all, a loud Irishman with a camera and zero chill destroyed Hublot in a way that no critic ever had. It started as a meme, a running joke in the watch world, when YouTuber Nicolena started making fun of Hublot.
Have a rose gold Yachtmaster? But what is this? It looks like a Hublot. That's not $20,000. That's just garbage.
The easiest punchline in any collector's conversation, Hublot, the overpriced, overdesigned, overhyped brand.
It's a fashion watch for people with more money than sense. It's like, would you buy a Daniel Wellington if it cost 10 grand? No. Why would you then buy a Hublot if it cost 10 grand?
That real collectors love to hate. At first it was funny, but deeper you look, the joke started to feel a little too real. Let's start with the engine, the movement. Classic Fusion, one of Hublot core models, is powered by modified Sellita SW300 or ETA 2892. Solid movements, reliable, Swiss-made. You'll even find them in brands like Tissot or Hamilton. Watches that cost under $1,000. But Hublot takes the same movement, drops it into a flashy case, slaps a luxury price tag on it, and sells it for $10,000 to $15,000.
Look at this. You see here? This is the movement, right? HUB 1110, right? You see that? And we go here and we base that in watch base. HUB, oh, it's based on the Sellita SW300. What else is powered by the Sellita SW300? Like, this is the cheapest movement nearly in the world.
That's not just a markup, that's a daylight robbery dressed in ceramic. Even the Big Bang, Hublot's flagship, has often used movements like ETA 2894, a basic chronograph caliber. Imagine a Bentley releasing a car with Ford Focus engine inside.
It'd be like Bentley putting out a car that's powered by a Ford engine. That engine will be reliable, that engine will last a long time, but it's not in line with the rest of the package.
It'll get where you're going, but you'll start to question everything. That's Hublot. The outside might scream luxury, but the inside whispers mediocrity. And when you're spending that kind of money, mediocrity isn't just disappointing. It's offensive. And that's what makes it worse. Because it's not only overpriced, it's lazy. Then you see something like a Venezia Nico watch. Same Swiss movement, tougher specs, real materials for under $1,000. And suddenly, Hublot doesn't feel premium. It feels like a joke you paid $15,000 to be a part of.
That is 100% accurate. That is unbelievably, ridiculously accurate.
Now let's talk about the belt. Hublot loves to flaunt its using cutting-edge materials, carbon fiber, ceramic, titanium, sapphire, and its own proprietary alloy, magic gold. Sounds impressive, right? But in practice, a lot of their watch feels cheap. Rubber straps that resemble plastic, cases that look bold but feel hollow, and the dials so over-designed they look like tech demo reels. Even the screw on bezels, iconic to the Big Bang, don't line up.
How does AP manage to align the screws on the bezel, and Hublot and everybody else just doesn't seem to do it correctly?
Not a deal breaker mechanically, but at this price point, that's unacceptable. Because the finishing is everything in luxury. The difference between good and exceptional, it's what makes you stop and stare, not scroll past. And Hublot scrolls by. But that's not only the problem. Here's another red flag, the resale value. A Rolex Submariner bought at retail will often appreciate over time. An Omega Speedmaster holds steady and sells fast. A Hublot, the second you leave the boutique, your 12,000 watch becomes a 6,000 regret. Depreciation rates of 30% to 60% are common. Some models drop even faster, especially the ones with loud color schemes and obscure collabs.
I love this Hublot right here. This is a D-Wade collaboration with Hublot. You know, I love putting these on with Miami Heat shorts.
Collectors have a name for this, the Hublot cliff. You pay for the shine and fall off the edge the moment the reality hits. Then there is the illusion of exclusivity. Hublot floods the market with hundreds of limited editions every year.
The Big Bang Hublot, you know, Big Bang this, Big Bang that. And there were just additions and different editions of Hublot. Everything was a limited edition. Everything was a limited edition.
As many special pieces are standard. They call them rare, collectible, but when everything is limited, nothing stands out. Hublot dropped 5 anniversary models, titanium ceramic, black ceramic, king gold, red magic ceramic, black gold, each using the same 42mm rework of the Big Bang chronograph. That's 5 versions of same watch, each limited but effectively flooding the market, diluting their exclusivity. When every model is a limited edition, limited becomes meaningless. Instead of being exclusive, it feels mass-produced hype, a shortcut to sales. Collectors and grey markets dealers see it for what it is, lazy marketing. And when watches meant to be rare become everywhere, that's not exclusivity, it's dilution. Because here's what Hublot or most people miss. The watch community doesn't hate Hublot because of the specs. They hate it because of the mindset. A great watch isn't just about design or price. It's about craftsmanship, moment, architecture, finishing, history, and purpose. It's about why it was made, not how loudly it can stream money. Hublot flipped that upside down. They built a brand not for people who love watches, but for people who love being seen wearing them. Because to the watch community, a real watch, a great watch, isn't just about status. It's about story, it's about a soul. It's about the reason why it exists, and not how loudly it can show from your wrist. You wear a Seiko not because it's expensive, but it proves that good watchmaking doesn't need to be. It's humble, it's reliable, it's honest. A Seiko punches above its weight and never pretends to be something it's not. You wear a Speedmaster because it didn't just keep timing. It kept the time when nothing else could. On the moon, in the vacuum of space, it's a machine wrapped in history, and every tick is a reminder of humanity's boldest leap. You wear a Grand Seiko because it's not mass-produced hype, it's craft. Every edge on the case, every hand, every marker is polished by a master using century-old technique called Zaratu. Not for marketing, not for flex, because they care. You wear a watch with soul because it speaks to you, not for you. That's the difference. Hublot spends billions trying to build a brand that shouts, but the watches that matter, they whisper, we listen.